How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We just got done with an insane week for the Bitcoin ETFs. They bought a lot of Bitcoin, and I want to go through that, show you some of the top news in the market. There is a whale that's buying. There's an interesting way about maybe calculating Bitcoin's future price that I want to show you, and I want to give a bit of a warning towards the end of the video. It's something that we've talked about before, but unfortunately it continues to happen. And I got to see a Tesla Cybertruck last night. I want to talk about all this. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one. While you're down there, there's going to be a link so that you can start trading on cryptocurrency, or you can start trading on leverage with cryptocurrency. There's a link to Margex underneath the video. You can see we put in a higher high. Maybe we're gearing up for something big this next week, especially if the Bitcoin ETFs continue to buy like they did this week. Maybe you want to go place a long and get ready. As you can see here, I do have well, you can't see there. Let me move over here. As you can see, I have some pretty green longs here in case you want to do something like this, maybe a low leverage long, or you want to scalp trade or something. There are links to Margex and to Blowfin underneath the video. Now, there's one other thing I have to tell you about. There was a video that I made yesterday. Talk about BEC and BELOW. This is a Bitcoin company. They're starting to put some of their treasury in Bitcoin. I tried some of their stakes last night, and they were unbelievable. My dad loved them. He loves Costco steaks. That's what he always gets. But he tried, what was it? We tried the andouille sausage. Again, those are just fantastic. And then we also tried the tenderloin filet, and we also tried a ribeye, a bison ribeye. If you want to support a Bitcoin business and you want to get some really good meat delivered to you, these are some of the best sausages I've ever had. Probably the best sausage I've ever had. I'm going to try some other stuff soon, like the bison heart and stuff. But if you want to try this out, there's a 15% off code underneath the video, and I'll leave a link to it as well. I'm about to get the Chief box as well. Ooh, this is going to be good. 10 pounds of entry-level items, 8 of the premium steaks, and then 2 slow-cooked items. So I'm excited for this. Again, if you want to support, you can use the link underneath the video, but no pressure. Let's get into this, though. $1.2 thousand stimulus check is now worth $12,000, 908% gain, or about a 10x. Yeah, I know some people get annoyed with the price action of Bitcoin. Maybe it goes up and then comes down. But when you zoom out, if you just zoom out 3-4 years, it's almost always profitable to be buying Bitcoin. As you can see, we're not even cherry picking, right? This is when you got the $1,200 stimulus. We could have cherry picked a little bit and gone down to a $3,000 Bitcoin, and then this $1,200 would be worth $24,000. But no, this is just something that we have to remember. If you can hold for 4 years plus, you're probably going to be quite green, especially if you buy at a decent time. Think about this. If we do a similar return over the next 4 years from now, and we do 10x, that puts Bitcoin right around $600,000. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. In the next 4 years, I'm not sure we're going to get that, right? That's quite a large jump. And even if you took it from maybe a little bit lower price of Bitcoin, because this was when we were about 2x off the bottom. Let's say we were 2x off of the previous bottom in 2022. That would put us around 30,000, and then a 10x from there is 300,000. So yeah, it's not a bad situation if we get that going forward. Now, the ETFs continue to buy. They're stacking like crazy. And of course, it's not them actually buying. It's people buying through them. We've seen so many 13F filings this week showing exactly who's buying. And it's a lot of hedge funds, really. But we had another positive day. So we had 38 coming from BlackRock, 38 million. Fidelity, 100 million. Bitwise ETF, 21 million. All the way down to Grayscale with their second best day ever, 32 million. So we had a total USA ETF buy of 221 million in one day. I mean, that is 10 times, well, closer to 8 times the daily issuance of Bitcoin. Right? They bought 3,300 Bitcoin, and we issue about 450 a day, or the Bitcoin network does. So they swallowed up a lot from people that are willing to sell. And eventually that pushes up the price. That's what we've seen. We saw a really good week this week. 14,389 Bitcoin bought, Only 3,150 mined. And what did the price of Bitcoin do this week? Well, let's see. 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4, 5, 6, 7. We went from 60,000 all the way up to 67.4. I mean, we have one more week like that, and we are at all-time highs. Like, it pushes us another $7,000 up from here. We're right at 74 again, which we didn't even hit 74 last time. So, yeah, be ready, because this kind of buying, this kind of FOMO does push up the price. Even if it doesn't seem like anything's that exciting, it can change in a few days. Someone can go buy $300 million worth of Bitcoin, and we spike up to 70,000 again. Shorts get liquidated, we continue moving up. So just be ready. Make sure that you don't get bored out of your situation, is that a way to say it? Make sure that you don't get too bored and just capitulate or sell because of boredom. Make sure you don't get freaked out when we fall down. Just make sure that you keep your head in the game and keep a long-term approach here. As you can see, GBTC did not take a long-term approach. Right? They actually have been having to sell off their Bitcoin for a long time, but this is the first week. This is the first week since the ETFs were approved that GBTC actually bought Bitcoin. There's net inflows this week from 289,384 to 289,426. So I bet they're happy. They stopped the bleeding for a week. You can see we still have IBIT buying some more. Maybe this inflection point will take a little bit longer than expected because, while Grayscale's still gaining a little bit, IBIT's growing still faster than Grayscale. So it will be interesting to watch this race. It's going to come down to the wire in a couple months probably. We have another whale buying. This whale is one of the largest wallets out there, 23,000 Bitcoin. I believe they're top 50-ish, maybe top 30 in terms of largest wallets. And this is the first time that they bought in about a month. They bought 255 Bitcoin. Now, they bought this significant portion of their Bitcoin back in the 2022-2023 bear market. You can see $1,000 Bitcoin buys, 4,500 Bitcoin buys. But this was in the 20s and the teens. And then they started to slow down once we moved up significantly. But they're still buying small increments. Small increments, right? That's funny. Just a cheeky $16 million buy. But yeah, still buying 255 Bitcoin, and they haven't sold any. Since they started buying, they really haven't sold anything. So I'll keep an eye on this wallet. Every so often they buy a little bit and then hold for a month or two, and then buy a little bit, hold for a month or two. Okay, how does Bitcoin move up to $1 million? I came up with a very simple way of calculating this, and maybe this is stupid. Maybe it is. Maybe, it's just my brain kind of like brain fuzz, brain static. But right now it takes about $30 million, just almost exactly $30 million to buy all of the new Bitcoin that's issued each day from the Bitcoin mining network. So 450 times 66,000, 30 million. Every 4 years, we go through another Bitcoin halving. Let's say the supply and demand stays similar, where there's the same number of people want to buy up Bitcoin, and they continue to buy up this available supply, right? And the numbers aren't going to work out perfectly here, but let's say that there's still a demand for Bitcoin, and people are willing to pay $30 million a day for the new issuance, no matter how much the new issuance is, if it's 225 Bitcoin or 112.5 Bitcoin. They continue to pay $30 million a day just to get their hands on the new supply. Then we can basically figure out what the price of Bitcoin is going to be in that scenario based on the amount of new Bitcoin each day. So let's say we go through 4 halvings. Okay, 4 halvings. There's only 28.125 Bitcoin issued each day at this point. So this is around 2040, okay? So 28.125 Bitcoin issued each day. And we're still going to assume that the people in the market are willing to pay $30 million for the new issuance of Bitcoin. So 28 Bitcoin will cost about $30 million. That means that the price of each Bitcoin will be about $1.05 million. It's crazy to think about, but that's about the simplest math you can use to get to a million, just basing it on what people are paying right now for the new issuance of Bitcoin. Now, what if we go a little bit into the future? We do the same scenario, but instead of 2040, what if we add another 5 halvings to it? What if we're looking at 2060? Well, at that point, we just break under one new Bitcoin a day. Okay, that's kind of crazy, right? One new Bitcoin a day is going to be worth that $30 million. That brings us to a price per Bitcoin of about $33 million. And you can continue with this. It's just kind of stupid fun. And the numbers get insane. Like when you get up to $100 million Bitcoin, that means each Satoshi is worth $1. That puts the market cap of Bitcoin at an insane level. I think it's 2.1 quadrillion, if I have that right off the top of my head. But keep in mind, there's going to be some inflation. Who knows if the world's even around in 40 years? And I'm not saying that we're going to actually hit that, right? I'm not sitting here saying that. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think someone's going to be willing to pay $30 million for the new issuance of Bitcoin when you're only going to get 0.88. But who knows? I don't know. It's just kind of a fun, stupid way of looking at where the price of Bitcoin could be. Let me know if that makes any sense to you, or if it's just my own brain static doing weird things to me on a Saturday when it's a little bit quiet in the market. Okay, Michael Saylor, Bitcoin halving rally confirmed. What to expect next? Bitcoin prediction. This is a scam. This is a scam. Just a reminder for anyone that's new to the market. Whenever you see a live stream like this from MicroStrategy US or something, it's not real. It doesn't make sense. Why would there be a stream on a Saturday? And it's funny too. There are a lot of people watching this as of now. Unfortunately, this is actually a YouTuber's page that got taken over. I know the YouTuber Daniel Pronk, a really good fundamental investor in normal stocks, and yeah, someone hacked into his account and switched it over to try to scam people. So let's get this back for Daniel. If you want to go look up Daniel Pronk and maybe file a report or something, that would be fantastic. I'm sure he'd greatly appreciate it. And just be careful in general of scams like this. Never connect your wallet. They're never going to send you anything back. Never click on a link. I'm not even sure. I was even curious to even suggest doing this because usually you don't want to interact with these. But if we can get Daniel's page back, I think it's worth it. Also, don't scan anything. Okay. All right. I saw a Cybertruck. I saw several Cybertrucks in person last night. I know not everyone cares about this, but it was pretty cool. So we went to our local Tesla dealership, and we're going to look at a Model X. You know, maybe we want to get a new Model Y, something like that. I'll explain that more in future videos. But we're looking at some new cars, and the Cybertruck was there. It was in my showroom. I had called a couple weeks ago. They still hadn't gotten one yet. But we roll up. They have 2 Cybertrucks sitting outside. Okay, one is getting delivered. The guy's there with his entire family. The whole family is going insane over it. Like, there are literally 8 people there piling into the Cybertruck, going, and this is like the family event on a Friday night at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Everyone's there just piling in the Cybertruck. We walk inside, and there's no one in there because it's about to close, but there's a Cybertruck. So I got to sit in it. I got to play with the tonneau cover. It was in showroom mode, so there were some things I couldn't do. I couldn't see the frunk and stuff, but up close, this thing is awesome. Like, this is a very impressive car. I know a lot of people still don't love the look of it, but it is a very impressive car to see in person. It's very large. The bed is much bigger than you'd expect, actually. And everything just feels massive. Like, we saw a Rivian a couple hours before, and it had 21-inch, 22-inch wheels, all that kind of stuff. We saw the Cybertruck. The tires and wheels are massive. Like, it doesn't even seem like a car, like a car tires. They are just absolutely massive. I think this is going to be very impressive. Now, a couple things. My dad saw it too. He said that he liked it more in person than I thought. but there were a lot of fingerprints. And this is something that you know if you've been looking at Cybertrucks, but just a lot of fingerprints. And of course, this was a showroom Cybertruck, but you'd think they wipe them like every day. You would think so. So this might be just the fingerprints from the day. And that might be a little bit annoying, because you don't see that on a normal car. For some people, I don't really care too much about that, but the size of the inside was massive. I mean, it feels like a real truck. The back seat is massive. My dad was literally laying down at a 45-degree angle. His feet could barely touch the front, and he's 6 feet tall. His feet could barely touch the front. He was leaning all the way back, and then he got out of the car, sat in the back seat, and he could still sit there even with the chair just like this. So it was pretty cool. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that. I asked the people that work there too if they've seen a lot of people like really excited or like how people have reacted to getting their Cybertrucks, and they've said pretty much everyone has loved it. They haven't had any complaints. They got to test drive them too, and they said that they're awesome to drive, especially this steer-by-wire and all that. So yeah, I think that's going to be very cool to see on the road. Let me know your thoughts though. It's a Saturday. There's not a ton going on in the market, so that's why we might cover a little bit of information about Cybertruck. Let me know if you hate the look of the Cybertruck or if you like it, if you like the look, and let me know if you'd ever get one. One other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, right? Everyone knows how durable these things are, at least people that know about Teslas in general. You know about how durable these are. I was knocking on different parts of the metal, and actually this part here and like this part back here sounds actually pretty hollow. And that was something I wasn't expecting. I don't know why, but I assumed in my head that it would sound like a bank vault door. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt just like 2 inches of thick steel. When you knock it, it's just nothing, right? No vibrations or anything. I just assumed it would sound like that, which is stupid, right? Because obviously they're not going to put 2 inches thick steel on this whole car. It wouldn't be able to move. But in my head, I kind of imagined that. I know that it's very durable. Of course, I didn't do anything to like try it out, right? I didn't try to hit it with a baseball bat or something in the showroom, but I just assumed it'd sound even heavier duty than it was. When I knocked on the car door, like the main part, it sounded pretty thick, but the rest of it did seem a little bit, like I said, hollow or something. I'm sure it's still durable, but that was something that caught me a little bit off guard. I was a little bit surprised by that. But let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to try out some meats, you can check out the link to Beck and Below underneath the video, but you can also check out the links to CoinW, Blowfin, and Margex. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think is happening this week ahead? It seems like it's going to be a week. It's going to be a pretty dull week in terms of economic data. We're not going to really hear much, but it seems like price action's starting to heat up. There's a lot of FOMO in from the 13F filings, and I'm sure something big is going to happen. We also have NVIDIA earnings too, which could drive the market a little bit. Like, who knows what happens after that? If NVIDIA crushes it, the market could continue to rally, new all-time highs. I'm sure there's going to be a low volatility going into that earnings because everyone seems to be watching NVIDIA these days just to see where AI is going, because that has been kind of a driver of the market recently. Keep in mind, there's still, I guess I'm ranting here today, just kind of continuing a stream of consciousness here. There's still a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Like, we have $6 trillion in savings accounts or money markets, right? We are starting to see global liquidity tick up. Housing prices seem to be doing pretty well. Consumer seems weak, but also the consumer has seemed weak for over a year now, like credit card debt going up. So who knows if there's a tipping point for that. But overall, there's still a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. We just saw Tether print another $1 billion as well. So their market cap continues to grow. They're becoming more profitable. I mean, every time that Tether prints another $1 billion, you should be excited for a couple reasons. One, it means that more money's coming into crypto in general. It means that people are coming in, they're buying Tether, and they're getting ready to go into Bitcoin or into Ethereum or into some other crypto. So that overall is a good sign. The other side of it is too, when money comes into Tether makes more money, or the underlying company makes more money. what do when they make more money? They buy more Bitcoin because they do take part of their profits and shove it into Bitcoin every single quarter. So keep that in mind. Tether winning is Bitcoin winning, at least price action wise, right? So I think that's pretty good news that they continue to print more and more Tether, and other altcoins are starting to do pretty well too. Like we've seen a decent week from some altcoins, not every altcoin, but you can see Solana up 17.4% this week. This is one of my larger holdings, and I have a video coming out on it later today. But we're in a pretty key area for Solana as well. So I'll continue to watch this. I'm quite bullish on Solana this next bull run. We see Chainlink as well going up 21%. They announced they completed some testing. I forgot who it was with, but some testing with some big names. So they're jumping up on that news as well, which is nice to see because honestly, they haven't moved in a while. By the way, let's look at Kaspa because I've seen some people talking about Kaspa this week. So let's see. 7 days, pretty much sideways. It did make a pretty big rally at one point about 10 days ago, going from about 0.11 to 0.132, so a 20-something% move. By the way, if you do want to use Kaspa as collateral, you can actually do that over on Margex now. So you can use Kaspa as collateral and trade something like the Bitcoin chart. So if, let's say you do a 10x on Bitcoin and it goes up 10%, right? You could get that would be 100% gain. You can get that paid out in whatever collateral is available. And if Kaspa, let's say Kaspa goes up 50%, you make 100% on the Bitcoin trade, but you get it in the underlying Kaspa. That means that you could actually amplify even more. You could get 150% return essentially in US dollar terms. Something that I think a lot of people don't really consider, but let's say the market continues to rally, right? Let's say Bitcoin goes up. Let's say your thesis is right. Bitcoin goes in doubles. And let's say you're at 10x, right? So if you did it in USDC or USDT, if Bitcoin goes in doubles and you're on a 10x, you get a 10x return. If you do that in USDT or USDC, okay, you get 10x. You put in 100 USDT, you get 1,000. If you did it in the underlying Bitcoin, though, if you did a Bitcoin trade with Bitcoin as collateral and Bitcoin goes in doubles and you have a 10x, you would have 10x the amount of Bitcoin. So if you had 0.01 Bitcoin in it, you'd have 0.1 Bitcoin. But also that 0.1 Bitcoin is now worth double as well. So it's actually like a 20x in US dollar terms, which is something that a lot of people don't consider, but maybe you even want to do it with altcoins. Let's say you have done that with Solana. You used Solana as collateral, and you did that at $80 per Solana. Or better yet, let's say it's $40 per Solana. And then Bitcoin has doubled since you put in the trade. Let's say you did it at 37.5 or something like that, 38, and Bitcoin's doubled, but Solana's done a 4x, and let's say you're on 10x. So if you're with me here, that would be a 40x return in US dollar terms. Your one Solana would turn into 10 Solana, but the Solana's also gone from $40 to $170, right? So your one initial Solana was worth $40 that you put in this trade, and now you have 10 Solana worth $170. So you actually have $1,700 from your original $40. Just something to consider. If you feel strongly like the market's going to go up, I usually put my trades in with USDT and USDC, but this is something that I've just been considering. One of the powers of using Margex is that you can use different forms of collateral. So maybe I'm going to start putting more trades in using those types of collateral. Now, of course, there could be differences with funding and the cost for funding over time too. So that's something that you have to consider. So sorry for rambling, just stream of consciousness here today. A little bit slow. The wife is away at a volleyball tournament. So maybe I'm going crazy a little bit here by myself. I'm not sure. Got to take the dog for a walk, touch some grass. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As I said, there are links to Beck and Below if you want some delicious bison Bitcoin sausages. Maybe that's something that they should do. Bitcoin bison sausages. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. This has been quite the video. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.